We will introduce our players. Game 3, TLO is up 2-0. Remember, for every game, one player wins $100. Play through all 3 as well. So here we go, in the southeast position as the Blue Terran. I know he's looking for a win, and he could use your guys' support. Give it up for Dignitas Select.
In the bottom left-hand corner, known for his beard, it is Liquid TLO. Because, you know, maybe there's someone new who, you know, maybe hasn't watched a lot of esports events. Maybe TLO's kind of a new name to said person. You don't really know who TLO is until you've seen his beard.
Yes. Yeah, it's true. And actually, there was a while where TLO said, you know, I'm not going to shave unless I meet these conditions. And he eventually did shave.
Yeah, well,
everyone thought he might lose his powers, but obviously you can see that he can maintain a smaller beard and still be just as good.
I mean, he could not actually see the game or micro properly because his beard was just spilling into his eyes and his keyboard.
Everywhere, yes.
Yeah, and he would say that unless I'm succeeding in tournaments, I'm not going to shave. And after a while, he just looked like a haggard god.
Yeah, he did. He did. And it was intimidating, but he's back to his TLO lovable self now. And here we are in our 3rd game. So we're going to see TLO take Hatch first. And gotta imagine we're going to have a CC first out of Select.
And look at these scout patterns. First, Overlord hooks down by the 4th base position. Hooks up this way. I want to talk a little bit about these center map positions, because there's this attack path along the top lane, as you can see, and then we head down to the middle of the map, and it's a much wider attack lane, but there's some awkwardness with these big pillars on the left and right. And then down on the south side, there's yet another attack path that actually has this little runaround to the 3rd. So it makes it very difficult to manage the space by just controlling a few key points. There's other maps, you know, like Akalon Waste, where you can really hold one spot and there's 4 bases behind you that you get. Not on this map. As a result, it's unclear whether this should be the 3rd or whether this one up here should be the 3rd. And after you've done that, is this your 4th up here? Is this going to be your 4th down here if you've taken them? Even this is a very common 4th if you're going mech. So the expanding patterns, the attack paths, all lead to very different feeling games on this map.
And, you know, that's actually one of the reasons I like this map quite a bit. Making that decision can absolutely change the flow of the game. It can change, you know, what the other player has to do in order to be aggressive, what you can do to be more defensive. And, you know, each race kind of has a different approach to it all. So, you know, right now we're seeing, again, another gasless opening. Actually, I take that back. No, we do see an extractor thrown down there as the 2nd hatch finishes up, and after the first queens come out.
Oh, that's dirty.
That is dirty.
And it's hardly anything lost. It's 6 minerals lost from TLO. And we very rarely see any Zergs do that. That's actually brilliant. Why don't Zergs do that? Just build the extractor, let him scout it, cancel it up.
I don't know. Good question. But he's going to, I mean, now we'll see how Select is going to react. So far, you know, bunker at the front, that's expected. He's got his factory in production. Orbital command's going to be dropping down. But does he super reinforce his wall, knowing that that speed could come really early, and he is going to get it up already, despite the fact of being a little head on supply, but he'll get that started.
You know, I'm curious what TLO is going to be doing with all these extra queens. It should be an expand around here. But these queens are getting very bold.
They are.
These queens are, oh my god, he's going to do the hatch cancel. He's going to begin spreading creep right around here. Whoa, whoa.
Yeah, I think you're right.
The incredible journey, Marcus, of 2 queens.
You know, I see this in games, Sean, and I'm like, this is awesome. I'm going to go home and I'm going to do that. And then I march my queens across, and I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing right now. Yeah,
it goes like 6 racks Marine all in, and you see them, and you're like, oh my god, and the queens are like transfusing each other before they inevitably die mid-map, and here it is.
Yeah, I like this. So the whole point is that you obviously cancel the hatchery, and then the creep tumors go down immediately. Got to be really quick, but there it is. And then you just spread all the creep you want.
There's quadruple gas going down at 630, very common for a Swift lair. And then soon enough, there'll be an expand right here. So we're going to see the Hellions move on out, but the Queens have already made it midway through the map to shut those down.
Yeah, they have. And the Hellion goes through and goes, this is not right. There is something wrong here. And as drone stays out, he's going to do it again, isn't he?
He's going to go up to this top expansion, it looks like. So suddenly, What's the target that you go for as Select? TLO needs to be very careful not to lose these tumors.
Oh, he does cancel. I don't think you can burn a scan at this point either, do you? I mean...
No, I mean, you absolutely cannot. I mean, with this sort of play that we're seeing Select do, you're very low on money.
Oh, and here we go. Hellions like, fine, let's go into the main. And there are 2 queens there to defend, a 3rd at the natural, and a 4th inside. So the gasless 6-queen opener with the forward creep tumor is now, I guess, TLO's build.
Wow. I mean, Select is going to be able to pick off, looks like one of these, but not all of them. This one at the backside runs out of scan.
And now we've got the creep coming up to the front as well. And he's going to do it a 3rd time. He's creating sort of a triangle at this point. Wow. I mean, what you mentioned it earlier, like, it's not that big of a cost.
It really isn't. And I mean, now it's going to be creep on the 3rd, creep on the other 3rd, and there's the hatchery going down. Roach is already in production. I mean, the big thing that you're going to have issues with is that you need 300 resources kind of tied up temporarily here and there, so Roach is going to be able to let you transition to that very easily. A lot of queens back home, but suddenly, oh my god, the Roaches were not produced in time.
Yeah, they weren't. Now, those Hellions have taken some damage. They're going to go in for the surround. He's got to be careful not to line them up. Here come more Roaches from the back. He doesn't really have any sort of wall to stop this, but a few Hellions do go down. How many drones have fallen? 6 drones right now. Going to be 7, 8. But these Hellions are going to fall, and now with these Roaches out, it is inevitable. Oh, no.
TLO's starting to lose them. Starting to lose quite a few.
I'm not sure. I thought for certain he was just going to move his Roaches around and just clean it up, but that actually was way more effective than I think it should have been for Select.
So, I mean, Select's moving out, trying to pick off the creep tumors right outside his front door. The spine crawler is actually doing some significant damage, being pulled back to the queens.
And there's another scan to try to clear it out. There are still a few active tumors around here. Spine crawler takes a couple days to burrow, and unfortunately all of this is going to come down, but here come the Roaches as a follow-up.
Wow, what a weird play. And now even before speed is done on the Roaches, they have that movement boost. TLO still aggressively creeping up to that top base.
But, I mean, Select has enough to get rid of this. I mean, off of the creep is not great. He's just going to take it back a little bit. Overlord now scouting through Select's base to see what's going on, but it's odd to see this broken creep. I also want to point out that the 3rd is up for TLO, but no extractors yet. Staying on, oh, there's the infestation pit, so.
Wow, what a play. I mean, Select is pushing it back, just playing very calmly, very standardly. He's getting a kind of delayed 3rd, but that's perfect for this situation. He needs to get a lot of Marines, get them out fast. +1 upgrade. Only a little bit way done right now. I mean, Select doesn't have his medevacs there yet, so I mean, these Roaches are still going toe-to-toe with him. And units lost, we see it's still quite even. 47 workers to 31.
What? I mean, there have been at least 4 scans for those creep tumors. I mean, the fact that I don't see a mule in the Terran mineral line is a bit odd, especially with 3 Cs. Actually, the 3rd one's finishing up right now. But I mean, he's focusing so much on clearing out that creep, and is finally done just the middle of the map now. More Roaches coming out. Will engage with these Marines, but just pulling themselves back. Meanwhile, you guys, 2 medevacs meet up with an Overlord going in, and here we have some units coming out here. Not enough.
Still a little unclear whether Select should be unloading these or whether he shouldn't. He opts to pull back out at the last second. 30 Marines out right now, but soon enough, Select is going to have to begin getting some Marauders, going to begin having to not be as Marine heavy, since his opponent really hasn't shown much of anything except the Roaches. And now we see Infestors coming up. What's going to be this follow-up transition? Hive is now en route for TLO. Drop still continues for Select in the main.
Yeah, I don't... Oh, here we go. Let's focus on this. We got 1 queen going down, and he finally found the right time to get in there. There's actually nothing here. Finally, the Roaches, they're scurrying back, trying to do what they can, but the infestation pit going down would be huge, and there it does fall. The fungals do help. Only a couple of infestors made it out there, Sean, but it is eventually cleaned up while the 3rd is getting attacked.
This is a very nice play from Select. Just trying to distract as much as he can, but has only killed 1 worker. What? That's insane. I mean, those have been non-stop dropping. Hive Tech comes up. TLO instantly goes for +3. Takes his 4th base. SeleCT is desperately trying to push out. This is a lot of mines. Roaches do not fare well against this many, and big connection on that back end. Another set of nice connections. But
oh man, really nice. Great roach separation there. Also, this time had the Overseer obviously realized that that was one of the problems he was facing in the last game, and already TLO just, I mean, at the front door of SeleCT, and once again, SeleCT, he has not had the best luck with 3rd bases this series.
yeah, he hasn't even been able to take one. And now we have the tanks coming up, and it looks like SeleCT is just going, you know what? I'm just going old school. Tank Marine straight. I mean, this is what's so cool about the way TLO's playing. Look at this network of creep already spread all the way through the middle, and he is now joining together the creep from his main with the creep from this middle. So now it's just it's like this highway to the Terran base. He can easily go for a Roach Hydra composition, be aggressive, and still pull back. Look, he's able to poke up with this speed, force some cancels.
Yeah, and again, that 3rd base gets lifted. He doesn't have burrow quite yet, so he's not able to just store a unit underneath there to make it even more of a hassle. And you know, when you're sitting at this front and you're going that old school style, like you said, getting the tanks, I mean, you are letting your opponent pretty much take the rest of the map. And so wondering where these drops are from SeleCT, because he's got to be doing something, and we have another medevac moving out. It's only got 7 Marines, 1 man left behind. But so far, his drops haven't done a good amount of damage.
And I mean, TLO's just sitting outside the front, continuing to try to deny this 3rd again and again and again. Oh my god, very nice fungal. Just capturing a few of those.
All right, here we go. Now at the 3rd. We've got Marines coming in. They're going to try to get a lot of drones, as many as they can. Now focusing down the Queen. The medevac needs to clean up, but gets hit by the Spore Crawlers, and now the Hydras are spotted. And TLO takes care of that, no problem.
I mean, TLO doesn't even care that he's being spotted by these siege tanks. So look at this. Oh, infested Terran and Fungal. The tanks killing off the own SCVs. But it looks like TLO's already made his late game clear. He's going for 3-3 upgrades. He's getting the muscular augments. And, I mean, I'm honestly liking the position that SeleCT is going to be in if he just waits for a little bit of time. I mean, his upgrades are certainly far behind. A Contaminate going down. God, TLO's just really... This would be one of those really nice games to show someone who's never played, so that way you can see what every single ability that Zerg has in one game.
Now look at this medevac trajectory as more creep tumors are cleared out. There's a medevac going to the far northeast side, and then it is going to go all the way across the north side. But look at the vision for TLO. It's actually just straight up crazy. There is so much. He sees everything. I mean, he sees forever, Sean.
Sauron-style Zerg from TLO.
Go, go, go!
And I mean, everything is going to get shut down as a result of that. That's the one thing. It's just so crazy to think of how contained TLO, or excuse me, SeleCT is at this point.
Yeah, I mean, look at this. SeleCT moves to this north side with his drops. He's being very responsible, picking off all the spotting overlords that he can, but as he tries to dart into this expansion, I mean, TLO is going to be able to not only take this out, but then dart back to his front lines immediately thereafter.
Trying to go for that northwest. Oh, denied the Fungal and the Hydra pickoff. And we've got more creep being cleared out. This is, to me, like one of the most important aspects, getting rid of that. But quickly, SeleCT is going to see the impending doom that is now marching towards this 3rd base. There's a lot of tanks that aren't sieged up either, and he really needs them to be dishing out these
siege him up, siege him up.
Oh my god, he's going to try to pocket them back, make them a little bit harder to hit. Does spread them out a bit, but this attack is inevitable.
Vipers for Abduct, but I think more importantly for the Blinding Cloud. Throwing down the Blinding Cloud means those tanks can't shoot nothing. There's the Blinding Clouds going down. Vipers instantly begin taking some damage.
And then he can also use the Abducts to bring in those back siege tanks. Doesn't really matter because throwing out the infested Terrans, a couple of funnels would be good, but there we go. There are the infested Terrans coming out, finishing it off. And he moves forward. The Blinding Clouds hit mostly the tanks. Still a lot of bio coming out, but the reinforcements, I think, are going to be able to do it.
Oh, wow. It looks like, did SeleCT hold that off? A great defense by SeleCT, and while it was all going on, this drop in the main, picking off a significant number of drones.
Wow. I mean, even with the bio being 2-2, you know, maybe he did need to have ducked those tanks in the back because they ended up doing a lot more damage than I think they should have. The tanks on the front line did almost nothing. They were under the blinding cloud for such a long time.
What a defense from SeleCT.
It was fantastic.
Now keep in mind though, SeleCT is only at 140 supply, and TLO has already worked his way back up to 177 on 5 bases.
And SeleCT is going to move out as another base getting set up here by TLO. Now, how far is SeleCT going to take himself out and feel comfortable with it? Another drop intercepted at the lower part of the map, the southern part of the map. And, I mean, SeleCT has so little right here.
This is a dangerous game to be trying to engage right here. He does have reinforcements moving on up, but I mean, TLO, I think, oh my god, the best possible engagement time. He needs to pick up those tanks and run. Oh my god, this is the worst possible angle.
I'm really not sure why he decided to take it that far out, but the number of Hydras now at 3-3. He does pick up the last 2 tanks, gonna take him up to the high ground, but this third is gonna be under fire.
He's gotta lift, he's gotta lift, he's gotta lift. No, it's gone.
Oh!
Wow, that dies fast.
3-3 Hydra's pretty good. And now the SCB is running back. There's really not even mineral patches here. There is a 4th base up, but TLO, knowing about it, is going to head directly there. He can Blinding Cloud on top of the planetary, but he does it anyway, even though he's going to take this down so quickly, and SeleCT is in a lot of trouble.
Oh god, Blinding Cloud. It's like the old Corruptor corruption ability that would shut down buildings, including Planetary Fortress. I mean, it's one Blinding Cloud, and all of a sudden the Planetary is useless.
Now this long-distance mining, this is not very optimal here for SeleCT, but he's still holding on. Oh, a couple of Ultras actually get caught out from the back. Neither of them go down, only the Hydras. But on the unit counting station, 8 Ultras coming out. Just look at what he's got. I mean, are there enough tanks? No, 2. This is not going to be pretty.
I mean, Marines only do 2 damage a shot against Ultralisks until they get that 3-3 upgrade. It's going to have to be all up to these Marauders. Another engagement. The desperation 3rd base from SeleCT needs to stay up, but Blinding Clouds force everything back yet again.
And that was like all the tanks got Blinding Cloud right there. I mean, I think TLO just pulling back in case there are some more tanks.
Wow.
It doesn't matter. GG.
A solid 3-0. A really solid 3-0. That was sick how strong that was. I mean, TLO using essentially different styles 3 games in a row. Playing very strong defense in game 2 against that bunker rush. In this game, TLO going for the very fast Queen creep spread into a completely different composition even, this Roach Hydra mix.
Everything from TLO looked phenomenal. And, you know, he has been playing really great lately. I mean, he's always been a fantastic player, but you know, whatever he's done to just take his game one step up, it's working out quite good. So SeleCT does fall to TLO 3-0.
But this is a round robin group, so there's always the opportunity to once again come back in one of the follow-up matches. 3 matches SeleCT will be playing over 2 days. But TLO, I just think, really surprised a lot of people, not just winning that series, but dominating 3-0 and looking dominating within each game. There's only one moment in game 3 where SeleCT looked like he had any chance to come back.
Let's shoot on over to our analysts, Mr. Bitter and Katz, with their breakdown of this series.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. What a great series that was, and we've prepared a few clips just demonstrating some of TLO's incredible exploits. I'm going to say it once again. He does that extra little bit.
He really does.
That you're not used to seeing. That distinguishes his play. A hatch cancel to spread creep is not something new. Damaga's been doing it for a long, long time. But the way TLO does it is completely different. He does it much more aggressively. He does it multiple times. He does it with 2 queens, and he just spreads creep forever.
Yeah.
I mean, just talk us through what impressed you most about that last game.
It's hard to say. Like, there's so many. I could literally talk about it for hours. The TLO's play was just so exciting throughout the entire series. He's one of the players that plays the map more than any other players, pretty much. Like even the scouting in Nuclear Precinct, we saw his Overlord scouting for proxies in the early game, and then it still gets on the same position that it would get anyway, so it loses absolutely nothing by doing it. It's the little things. Yeah. Maybe he should rename himself to the little things instead of the little one.
TLT?
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, man.
I like it a lot. So I mean, games 1 and 2, he played this Zergling Baneling style. Game 3, he decided to do it with roaches. We're going to take a couple looks at some of the cool things he did through that final game. And my favorite is the very, very aggressive hatchery cancel creep spreading that took place.
He played an extremely aggressive style throughout the entire series. There was one common denominator. He did not use Muta. Muta are usually your safety net against drops. They're what gives you the map control. TLO was using different avenues to reach the same goal, to have map control. So instead of, he was just not letting SeleCT attack.
Yeah. All of it culminated in this great final engagement. I guess this is the one that SeleCT actually barely defends. I mean, you know all too well, when you trade this effectively with a Zerg army, that's not really a defense. That's
yeah, and that is exactly what the problem is usually with this Zerg army, right? It's hard to get the third base, it's hard to get the fourth base, because you don't have the map control that you have with Zergling Muta, so the Terran can just expand everywhere. But with TLO's style, he was making sure the Terran was not expanding everywhere. He was making sure that he had the map control somehow with a beautiful creep spread. And then this style trades cost efficiently pretty much against everything.
Yeah, every single engagement, every single time. And I think all of it really comes back to how much he's able to delay the 3rd and 4th expansion because of that just ridiculous creep spread that you don't normally see. Like, I feel like the best Zerg players in the world would have to look at this and be impressed and say, hey, I need to start implementing this into my game.
Absolutely. And I think Terran players, for saying this, I'll probably get a lot of hate from every Terran pro, but hey, Raven.
Well, you know, you're right.
One
Raven really cuts out all that creep spread issue. But you know, I think in this instance, SeleCT didn't even have a tech lab that he could put his starport on, so it's harder. Maybe.
Yeah, it's tough. It cuts medevac production. It's really a heavy investment to get a Raven,
Yeah.
but in a unique position such as this one, I think that it would be a worthwhile investment.
Great games out of TLO. Goes 3-0 against SeleCT. That's $300. Sets him up to have a good shot at moving on to our final day of play. And man, I sure hope we get to see more games like that. Let's go ahead and pass it back to Day 9 and DJ Week for our next set. Thank you, Kat, so much for your great analysis.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Mr.